They hop in. Okay, so y'all, welcome to our Tuesday night call, typically Mondays, but super excited you guys are here. I know it's been a minute since we've all been here, and I'm looking forward to fall schedule starting back up. Terry, I promise. I was telling them, I was like, we're going to get back to our usual routine. Summer throws everything off, so I'm glad y'all are flexible. But Nick, we're super excited you're here, and I shared just a little bit with them about I mean, you're closely tied with this company with, your father being a part of all of this getting started, but then just the fact that you work so closely with everybody in the field and kind of helping all of us with our businesses. But then, maybe you'd be able to offer us some tips and ideas and strategies tonight to just kind of help us close out our month since we're coming into the final 9 days. So
I
super.
love it. Yes. So, thanks again for letting me be on this call. I'm very excited. I'm assuming everybody on the call is a business builder. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Let me see. Okay, there's 7 of us on the call, which is awesome. Always want to see. And is everybody from Texas and the east side, or where are you guys all from?
All over.
Missouri, Minnesota.
Okay.
Minnesota.
Missouri, Minnesota. Where else?
We've got quite a few Texas. I don't think unmuting. She's Florida. Amanda.
Okay.
Amanda, I always forget which state you're in, but she's putting baby girl down. She's East Coast.
I
Maryland,
love it.
Virginia, one of those.
I love it. Awesome. So all over. That's awesome. It's a good team. We're here in Arizona, Maryland. Love Maryland. I love it. We're here in Arizona. So the temperature is hot and it is dry. It was actually not too bad today. It was only like 105. So not the end of the world. It's funny how once you live here, you kind of get used to the temperature. And next week's only going to be 97. My wife and I are like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a little cooler. And then I was like, I'm from Utah. 97 was like the worst it ever got. So I'm changed. I'm a changed man. But I'm excited to be here, you guys. Let me ask this question. Do you guys all know what incentives are going on this month? Right? And have you been leveraging them? Right? So I want us to just talk quickly about how to leverage incentives so we can use this month to prepare for next. A question I always like to ask, and yes, these 4 questions are silly questions, but really think about them. Right? Is a pink Plexus cup going to change somebody's life? Right? And in all reality, it's not, right? How about a Ninja Creamy? Also, again, probably not going to change somebody's life. How about a cruise to the Bahamas? Although we all want it, it probably won't change your life. But how about creating a legacy business that empowers women to do the same? Right? Those are silly questions because obviously the last one is going to change somebody's life. So I want us to think bigger, and we can do that at this end of the month, is focus on the incentives and the end of the month in a way that when we look at an incentive, your first thought isn't, and I see Kim here, so I'm going to say Kim's name. Plexus's goal is not necessarily to give Kim a Ninja Creamy, right? She's a business builder. Ideally, the thought is that we offer an incentive, and Kim thinks, okay, I have a couple of ladies on my team who are a little unmotivated right now. How can a Ninja Creamy help them get motivated with enrollments and retention? Right? Does that make sense? How that mindset is shifted outward instead of inward? And between you and me, you're good at this, and if you do well enough, you can buy yourself like 7 Ninja Creamies. Right? Lots of money potential here. So does that make sense how we're thinking outward instead of inward? So next time, in the next couple of days when Plexus announces incentives for August, let's focus outward. Right? This month is my favorite incentive that has ever ran, period. And that's what I'm going to focus on to how to close the month strong. Double BBBs. Who here knows what BBBs are? Business building bonuses. Is somebody brave enough to say how much is a BBB normally?
20%. I can't
Yeah,
let.
put in the chat.
20% of their order.
Yes, 20% of their PV order. Nailed it. Yes, 20% of their PV order. So this month, it's 40%. All right, just think about that for a second. For every new brand ambassador's enrollment, that is 40% of what they're getting back. So this is another opportunity to think outward, not inward. Right? I see Raina here. Raina's not going to get double BBBs for new brand ambassadors upgrading and signing people. But what she is going to get is that influx of excitement on her team. So an awesome end of the month strategy is to reach out to anybody and everybody and let them know that there has never been a better time to join Plexus as a brand ambassador. You have people sitting on the fence about even joining, double BBBs, right? You have a VIP customer who's also not sure, who's been ordering consistently, double BBBs. There's never been a better time. I know we only have a week left in the month, but if somebody goes crazy, becomes a brand ambassador and signs up three people on the triplex and trim combo, which is the one you get the free reset with, that's 180 PV. What's 40% of 180 PV? I'll do the quick math because I already did it because I'm not great at math. $72. That's $72 per enrollment that person gets. So if they sign up 3, that's $216. Plus, since they signed up 3, that's silver. They did it within the first 30 days. That's Fast Start Silver. You guys, that's $216. Sorry, $416 before they even get their paycheck. You think that somebody might want to share Plexus if they have to find 3 people and earn $416? Right? I think that we all should be jealous that we can't join as brand ambassadors this month. Right? Lots and lots of potential. So this is one of the best ways to close the month strong, is try to find people who want to upgrade to brand ambassador, who want the business. Right? We're all on this call because we want to grow our business. And to say this in a, hope you understand what I'm saying and not necessarily the words that I'm saying. If all that we look for on our teams are sick people who need the products, our whole team's going to be full of sick people who just want the products. And there's nothing wrong with finding people who need our products. But we're here to grow a business, so we also need to find business builders. Does that make sense? Hopefully that wasn't insensitive, because we definitely want to help and give back. But at the same time, you catch what you bait for. If all we're talking about is products, how it can make you feel better, all this stuff, and we never mention the business until after somebody signs up, they're not going to want to share that often. Right? I'm a firm believer that the business and products should be brought up before somebody signs up. Studies have found that if the business is brought up after somebody signs up, even if it's 30 seconds after somebody signs up, they feel like they've been tricked. Right? That you weren't being transparent with them. That all you wanted was to get them signed up so you could share the business with them. If you lay it out, Plexus has an amazing opportunity where you could make money. Times are tough right now. I would say $100 is the new 20, right? You can't go to the store and not spend $100. It's insane. Right? And then fall back on the products. That's where you're going to find your success. So month-end tips is lead with the products. Lead with the business. Follow back on the products. It's been a day. 5:40. I don't know how you East Coasters are doing it. It's like 9 o'clock. But, so lead with the business, fall back on the products. And if you are pretty product heavy, it might be weird at first. So I really, really recommend sitting down with Kendall or whoever your sponsor is and just kind of role playing a little bit, right? Scripting it out just to have it written down and say, hey, I usually lead with the products. I want to start leading with the business more. Can you help me word it? I want to make sure I send a good message to somebody. So that's tip one. Tip one is leverage the business to close the month strong. And then ideally, you lead with the business always and forever because that's where true growth happens, right? So lead with the business to end the month strong, right? Another thing to close the month with is subs are about to fire for the most part on the 28th, right? If you don't know how to find this, get with Kendall, get with your sponsor. Look and see whose subs are about to fire, who joined recently, right? If they join within the last 2 months and they have a sub set to fire, reach out to them and say, hey, I see your sub's going to fire. I want to make sure you're still happy on whatever products you're on. If you're not, let's make sure we change it. A new Slim was just launched at convention, Sweet Tea. Have you tried it yet? You know what I'm saying? So tip 2 is go for those low-hanging fruit. Those people who have a subset to fire, that a lot of them probably will push it out. We see probably a 10 to 15% push-out rate for those subs who are set to fire this month. So reach out to those individuals. Are there any questions up until this point about what you should do to end the month or how to end the month strong?
I did have a question. And
yes.
y'all, I did tell y'all last time to come with questions, but be thinking about questions if you have them specifically. But so how would you, especially at this point, help someone know true growth in your business comes from looking, like Genevieve talks about it all the time. It's like, how do you move to your next rank, right? Like we love growth at any point, but growth is, you know, we all, especially here, I know we all have goals of emerald or sapphire or diamond, right? Like it's a rank, right? And a rank, it's not for the rank's sake. It's for the opportunity it provides for your family. It's the income and what the impact that income has on your family. And so how would you help those that maybe don't know what that looks like to move toward the next rank or map out the next rank or the growth? Like, do you have any tips in that area?
Yeah, 100%. I would say number one, find out what their goal is. The number one advice in this business is you can't want it more than somebody else wants it. Right? If you are pulling your friends along, it's never going to end well. Right? Gone are the days where your niece or your great aunt joins your fun business because they want to support you. If somebody is not ready, don't sign them up. So I'll get to your question back in 1 second. But does that make sense? Lead with, hey, this takes 90 days to start seeing results. If you don't have 90 days right now, then let's wait. Let's wait. Okay, does that make sense? But to go back to the question that Kendall asked, which is a great question, is first we need to find out what their goals are and what they want out of Plexus. Right? We can't set goals for somebody. As much as we want to, we can't. So they have to want it. After they've expressed to you what their goals are, map it out, talk about how many enrollments they need, but more importantly, talk about how much retention they need. And you don't have to get too deep into numbers. Just express that signing somebody up and having somebody leave the next month is like signing nobody up. Does that make sense? You're not moving. So without being great at numbers, you don't have to even dive into the numbers. Just you sign 3 people up, 1 person falls, you sign 3 people the next month, 1 person falls, you're still moving forward. Does that answer your question, Kendall? Of you have to find out what they want, and then once they know what they want, that's when you can start planning. If they don't know what they want, then say, you know what? If they're unsure what they want, and they're expecting you to set their goals. Say, you know what, it sounds like maybe we're unsure what we want right now. Let's take some time, find out what you want. Let's meet again in a week and let me know. Right?
Yeah, that does answer my question in the sense of a new person, because I 100% agree. You cannot want this more than somebody else can want it. And such a huge part of helping somebody even understand it is vision casting and helping them dig into, even though, why would you put in hard work, right? Because it is hard work. And why would you even do that? But I'm also thinking from the sense of those of us that have been here for a while, and maybe been sitting where we're at for a little bit. And we're like, okay, I know I don't want to stay here for the next year, and so I need to figure out, how do I start moving forward from where I'm at? And so that's the one where I think those of us that have done this for a little while, it's easy to get bogged down with I'm going to check on my customers, and I'm going to do my personal recruitment, and I'm going to ask people to do a shout out post, but like true moving from, like, if you know your destination, it's the how to get there. Does that make sense? Like, of those of us that are kind of
Yes.
in it now.
And let me, again, I hope I'm understanding you correctly. If you have somebody on your team who's been on your team for a while, and you feel like you're meeting with them, you feel like you're talking with them, and there's no progression on their end, is kind of what you're bringing up, like not new growth, but kind of pouring into those people who are there,
Yeah.
and they're not showing, and they're not showing growth. My honest opinion is you need to find somebody who wants growth, because your success can't depend on somebody else, right? And that's hard sometimes. So it doesn't mean stop being friends. It means the opposite, right? Plexus is never more important than relationships, and I will stand by that for the rest of my life, right? And I probably love Plexus more than anybody you know, right? Plexus is not more important than relationships. So, with that being said, if somebody on your team is not progressing, and you feel like you're just pulling them along, let them sit there, right? You don't need to cut ties. You don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to be frustrated. Move on. Find somebody who wants it. And so it's kind of a answer to your question, but refers back to the first thing is you need people who are excited to grow and who want to grow, because you can't depend on people who don't want to run with you. And so that's where Plexus is moving right now, is we want people excited for the opportunity.
Can I
and
share
so I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that made me think of something, and I think I've said this to you guys before. It's something Brooke Hemingway said, and I think everybody knows Brooke Hemingway, triple diamond. She's going for quadruple diamond now, but she said once in a coaching community, she said, even though she's a triple diamond, right? So she's got jewels under her, she's got business builders under her, she's got people working. She said every month she makes it her goal to grow 100 points outside of her team, because she never wants her goal to be dependent on any of her business builders that she had entering that month. And all that means, she's showing up and doing the things she's telling them to do. She's bringing in people, casting vision. She's developing silvers. I think last month she said she developed like 2 fast start golds. I mean, she's just saying, I'm responsible for my goals. My team's not, but I'm here to help them. So that made me think of that.
Exactly. And that's what becoming a leader is. A leader is not necessarily dragging people behind you who don't want to do it. If somebody can't recognize the opportunity they have in front of them, then they might not be ready. And you can always circle back and make sure that they're okay. But you have places to be and people to see and things to accomplish. Right? Does that make sense? So, to kind of recap, one, if you do have business builders who are wanting it, pour into them. Help them understand that finding new business builders is the only way to grow at network marketing. Like, if we break it down to the simplest of all simple, how you grow a business is finding people, right? There's no other way to grow in network marketing besides adding people to your team. Everything else is to help you with finding people. That's why this is the best industry on earth. You control 100% your destiny. Right? So that's the number one for that conversation. And then number two, after you dug into those people who are on your team who do want to work, you have to find new people. You should never be satisfied with the leaders that you have currently on your team. You should always try to add one more. Okay? And then last tip, this is actually for next month, August. You've probably heard it all month long, but the goal this summer is to add one person every week. Don't overwhelm yourself. It's one person a week. I heard a quote in church that really stuck with me. He was comparing gardening to parenthood, and I heard that and thought that kind of applies to Plexus. So, a long stretch. But the quote was, small and consistent watering is far more beneficial than the occasional flood. Right? So let's pour into those people small and consistently finding people, consistently pouring into building our teams, little bit by little bit each week. That's what's going to make the difference. Right? If we spend every last week of every month, that's where we decide to rush, and we enroll 2 people, and then sometimes we get burnt out and don't enroll anybody the next month, or sometimes we enroll 5 and then we don't enroll for like 2 months, right? That can get pretty crazy. If we just small and consistently enroll 1 person a week, that's 52 people a year. Right? Imagine if you personally found 52 people and explained to every single one of them the opportunity with the products and the business. I would guarantee you there'd be a handful of people who want to run with you. Right? When is it hard to find 52 people in a year? When it's December. Right? When is it a little bit easier? When it's January 1st. So we split the difference, we're July. Right? Right in the middle. So let's start this month, today, right now, finding 1 person a week. Okay? For those of you that do know my dad, Alec, he loves to ask this question, what if this could change everything? Right? So allow yourself to ask yourself that question. So often we're afraid to dream because we're afraid of failure. But let's ask ourselves, truly ask ourselves, what if this changed everything? What if July 23rd, 2024 was the night you decided to enroll 1 person a week for the rest of your time at Plexus, you found your people who helped get you to Diamond, and your life has changed forever? Right? What if? What if? So hopefully I gave some helpful tips and tricks on how to close the month strong, right? How to maybe be a better leader, how to find those people who are excited. Because dragging people through the mud and sand is not fun. It's tiring, it's frustrating, it's daunting every time you wake up. So it's okay to let go of those people, leave them on your path, circle back every once in a while, make sure they're okay, but go find people who want to walk with you, right? That you don't have to drag. Deal? Sound good? Any questions?
Okay, y'all know I always have questions, but I want to give y'all a chance first. Does anybody have a question that they really want to ask Nick before I dive deep?
It's your only opportunity forever. Till next month, maybe.
Lena gave me a thumbs up.
So I do. Like when you talk about lead with the business, do you have like an outline or a message? Obviously the days of, I've been here for, almost as long as Kendall. So the days of copy paste, right, are done. People smell that a mile away. You know, I do know it takes being personal and letting them know why you really think why you're really thinking of them.
Yeah,
Um, but do you have any like specific tips on leading with the business?
I
And
do. Yeah, it's such a great
okay,
question. Um, if you're reaching out to somebody who you know, lead with a compliment, right? Nobody's going to be offended for getting a compliment, right? So, hey Terry, I'm sure you've noticed I've been posting about Plexus. I've been talking about it. I've just noticed how driven you are and how exciting you are to be around. I really think you could be amazing at this. Would you be open to hearing more? Guarantee you Terry's not going to be upset. She's going to say yes. That's up to Terry, right? That's not up to me. But to see how that just breaks the ice, that now all of a sudden if it's sincere, and I hope they're sincere, right? Don't write fake compliments to people. But try to see good qualities in people that you want on your team and identify those when you message them. And if they say yes, awesome. I always suggest putting them in a three-way chat, right? Not because you're not capable, but because it's always nice to see somebody else who's had success along with you, right? So now let's say Carrie invites Terry, and then Kelly and Kendall hop on a call with Terry. Now Terry's going to see it's not just Kelly, but it's also Kendall, right? She's going to see that extra support that, oh wow, two people have done this and they've been successful, right? So does that answer your question, Raina?
mhm. Yeah. And I like how you keep it really simple, how there's, whoops, I don't know what happened with my screen, but there wasn't like a whole lot of fluff. It was just direct to the point. Hey, you probably see what I share. You would be amazing because would you be open to hearing more?
Yeah,
Pretty simple formula.
it is. And that's what they shared last week at Leadership Excellence. We had Christina Williams. For those of you who don't know, she's a diamond, almost re-rank, almost second account emerald. She's very close. But she is an absolute rock star. That's the formula that she shared that works for her,
And
right?
she
And then,
I,
on
oh,
that actually. It's
yep,
like in the PDP, if you just go to links, I shared it like probably 2 weeks ago. She has a whole training call on it.
love it, love it, love it. And then, Raina, what'd you say?
well, I was just going to ask for it if you can send Kendall a copy of your Leadership of Excellence book. Kendall and I went last year and we didn't get the opportunity to go this year. So I figured I'd just put you on the spot and just ask if you could.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a PDF version, and if we do, it's above my pay grade. I can try.
I mean
If
the
I
whole
had to
book,
guess,
the whole book that you
I'll
get.
send you an actual book. Yeah, I'll try.
Okay.
If I had to guess, they probably want you to come to get the book, but might as well ask, right?
Still
It's
have
always
my
no unless you do.
Always good to ask. I love it. Um, any last questions before I let you guys go? I know it's time.
Yes, I do have a quick question for you. And this is something that's kind of come up over this last week is, there's kind of been these network marketing companies that people have seen have all of a sudden kind of changed the game on their people out of the blue. And a lot of people, have been kind of, is Plexus ever going to do that? And I know Plexus spoke with the Diamonds, and I shared a little bit of that on our team page, but just you being so closely connected with the company, especially with your dad being a big part of all of this, like, can you just kind of maybe share a little bit about the heart behind what they want for us moving forward?
100%. Plexus is built on you guys, right? Ambassadors. Period. End of story. It's never changing. Network marketing is the best industry on earth for multiple reasons, but one reason that it's never going to change is it allows a single mom who's struggling to put food on the table for her kids, right? And all she has to do is make friends and share the opportunity. She doesn't have to be great on social media. She doesn't have to get people to click on a link. She has to just share it, share her results, and find people, right? Plexus is not going to change their format, never will. Network marketing in Jane's voice, in Alex's voice, in Tarl's voice, is the best industry, and it will never change. Right? So for those that have changed, it's because they've stopped seeing success. We are still seeing tons of success. And that's because of you guys. Right? I think the quote that Tarl and Alex say a lot is, network marketing, like it should be done and could be done, but rarely is. Right? That's who we are, and that's who we're always going to be. So to answer your question, Kendall, we're never going to change that. It's not ever going to become anything besides good old-fashioned people-to-people network marketing.
And I know Charles said he even started this because of his mom being a part of network marketing, and him,
Yep.
you know, how big of a blessing.
Charles used to help set up chairs for multi-level marketing meetings that his mom would host. Charles was in charge of chairs.
Yeah.
Right. I remember growing up in the industry, my dad being gone, going to events, meeting with people, doing calls, hosting opportunity meetings in tiny little hotels that if they were in Utah, we got to go watch. Mm-hmm. Right? Like this industry is built on family and legacy, and it's not going to change.
Yeah. And I heard your dad, I think it was at last convention, had even said, like, you hear all of these executives who are like, I'm going to move on to this company and this company. And your dad's like, this was it for us. Like, we love this company. We're here for life. Like, we're committed to this. And so I just appreciate that. And they've always been so transparent about that. And you can tell it for them, not just a business that like, hey, if we go public, we can make more money. It's family to them. And so I appreciate
100% it is.
And you guys are
100%. That's a great question.
I love that you guys are so accessible and transparent and supportive of us. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate you guys. So without you guys, there's no Plexus. So thank you guys for everything you do. Really, truly.
Well, thank you.
Any last questions?
Anybody have a final question? And then I actually am going to stay on for a minute, y'all, and we'll chat for just a second once Nick.
Okay. You guys, thank you for letting me hop on. It was so nice. Kendall, I'd love to do this again next month if you guys are open. We can talk about August incentives and how to actually leverage those with some strategy.
Yeah.
So maybe early August, if you have a time, send me a message. I'd love to hop on.
Okay. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Hang on. So I was just going to kind of share just some things I was thinking through for myself. And y'all, I don't even have this written out. It's truly just set aside time to focus. Like, just set aside time. I mean, y'all know I've had craziness going on in my life. At least most of y'all know I've had craziness going on in my life. And then you add in summer, you add in, out of normal routine, wanting to go sit by the water, right? The sun's shining. And so it just throws your schedule off. It throws in distractions. And so y'all may be perfect and I may be the only one dealing with this. I don't know. But for myself, it's really just setting aside time to, one, show up, right? It's as basic as that. So often we don't show up because we're so disappointed in what we haven't done that like we settle in that feeling when really it's just a matter of just showing up and getting into activity. And it's amazing how fast that feeling can disappear. Like, I mean, just like that. Like this week I've sat down, well, it's Tuesday. Yesterday and today I've sat down and just shown up, and it's like just the ownership you feel and the pride you feel and keeping a promise to yourself, even if it's 20 minutes, right? So showing up, checking on my customers that I already have. Like, we're so focused on growth goals that we forget to look back. And I feel like so much of our joy in this and so much of like those positive feelings of not being salesy or sleazy or whatever whatever red light story we give ourselves, if we're loving on our people, we instantly feel good about what we're doing. And that at least brings me joy. So I'm loving on my people. And kind of like Nick said, Those that have semi-recently ordered, like those reminders of, hey, you got a sub coming up. Let's talk about how you're doing, right? We never like people to be surprised, but sometimes we don't remind them because we're afraid they're going to turn it off. I'd rather them turn it off and us have a conversation about that instead of them having this negative taste in their mouth because they were surprised by it, right? So checking on my customers. I'm channeling my inner Rena, and she always talks about doing the keyword search in your messenger. I'm going in my messenger and I'm typing in reset. I'm typing in weight loss. I'm typing in thyroid. I'm typing in gut health. Any keyword that can pull up people that I've connected with and forgotten about. And I will tell you, I sat down to do my birthdays yesterday and today, and the people that pulled up, I'm like, dear Lord, I have dropped the ball on follow up with this person. Like, y'all, some of them it's ridiculous. I'm like, oh, 2022 is the last time we talked. Woohoo, I'm stellar, right? We all do it. We all do it. But it's just a matter of like saying, okay, but today is a new day, and I'm not going to let those thoughts like tell me who I am or that I'm a loser or that I'm no good, whatever, right? We all think it. But I'm keyword searching and connecting with people and just being intentional. Like, you don't even have to have the perfect message. If you don't know what to say, just turn on your voice memo and start talking to that person. Or even this is what I do. I open up my message to myself in Messenger and I just start sending a message to myself as if I'm sending it to that person because I feel less nervous when I'm talking to myself, and then I can just forward it to them. But just checking on people. Like I sent a message in the PDP today and I was talking to Crystal, but it was about like inactives, people. I've got quite a few ladies I'm thinking of that have stopped recently that I want to check on and just invite to have a fresh start. And it's truly just saying like, hey, I know you were doing this. I know it wasn't the right season. That's totally fine, but I know you shared this, and this was something you were struggle with. And I really still think that this could help you. Are you open to at least having a conversation about maybe having a fresh start? Because there are a few really good things on the table right now this month, and I'd love to help you take advantage of those. Like, right, just talk and just ask whatever's on your mind. But no matter what, we know there's only a few things that move the needle forward. And especially at the end of the month, if you've had kind of the month I've had, where it's kind of like Nick said, right? It's like, okay, I haven't really been watering, so now the flood's got to come in. There's only a few things that move the needle forward. And it's getting in conversations, loving on your customers. And then also, I love what he said with the incentives of like using these incentives to focus outward and not inward. Like, how can these help them? How can I shine a light on what's on the table to help them instead of helping me? Because it's really, I think, when we're thinking of, okay, how can I use this to help me? What can I say to them to get them to do this so that it helps me? That we get all tongue tied and that we get all like caught up in our heads. And then we just don't do anything, right? Because then we have those negative feelings of whatever we're telling ourselves. And so I love that. I'm gonna strive to really like use what's on the table for these people and bring it up truly in the sense of what's in it for them. And then just trust God with the results. So that's it. It's nothing fancy. So does anyone else have ideas they've been thinking of or questions about incentives this month, or just any thoughts that y'all have been having that you think would be helpful to share? People.
I wouldn't say incentives. I have been pretty disconnected. You know, I mean, I know what the incentive is, but it's even beyond that. I don't know if you've noticed, I feel like I've been going live in my stories like almost daily. And I have been like, even today I did a live, and even this thing tonight is I'm just decided I can't tackle all the things. So I'm just gonna go for like what terrifies me the most. And I don't know, like, and there's just some peace in that, like all these 100 little things that I'm not doing well. So I'm like, you know what? I am just gonna tackle the biggest thing that freaking scares me the most. And I don't know, we're just gonna do it. And So even tonight, the, opportunity call, I can beat myself up. I didn't promote it enough. I didn't talk about it soon enough. I didn't, all the things. And like I was telling the girls, we just had a little, like, let's look at each other's eyes before we do this. Um, I really truly feel like sometimes it's this for me is like you talk about keeping the promise to yourself. Like, so whether anybody even gets on or doesn't get on, praise, hopefully I can figure out how to record it so we can at least have the recording. But it really is just keeping a commitment to myself, right? It's just, but then I did. Then I sat down this afternoon and got into action, and it felt really good. And it's true. Action is the cure all for it all. Without the perfect words, without the whatever, just take action, just have conversations. I think it was the girls I was saying, what my goal every day needs to be is not like a number. My goal every day needs to be is I need to get into at least one. Like, I don't know how many no's I have to get or how many messages I have to send, but to get into at least one quality conversation a day. Or I guess I listened to my husband do sales for so long, basically get to the point where it's, trying to choose my words carefully, not sound so salesy, but basically get to the point where you're talking about price, right? Well, you've uncovered their health issues. You've uncovered their health issues, right? And, the question, other than price, do you have any questions for me? Right. And the goal should just be every day getting to the point where I'm at least having one price conversation, and then following up with all the rest. And I don't know, just really rethinking a lot of things.
Well, and that
Not
makes
really thinking,
if y'all haven't
streamlining.
yet to what that video Rena shared yesterday in the Success Accelerator chat, which is where we really want to, if y'all haven't seen the post we put on the team page in the Success Accelerator chat, is where we are trying to every day put something that you can post on your Facebook page, some kind of tip on how to get into a conversation with somebody, and then some kind of like training that you can plug into. But there was a call yesterday from Christina Williams. It's like 2 years old, but it's on Closing the Month Strong. And I listened to it. It's really good. There's even like those verbiage examples I shared today were from that call. I just like edited them for myself so that I could use them like and be applicable now. But she even talks in there about how there's so many things we can do. And like, what if you just showed up as the person who did the things you wanted to do? Like the person who just accomplished the things. And even if it's one thing, like, of course, Christina Williams makes me think of Brittany Howard, and they have that whole call podcast where it's like, what is your bare minimum promise to yourself? Where even when your life is at its craziest, if you showed up and had one conversation a day, would you be proud of yourself? Because if you're setting your goal at 3 or 5 or 10 a day, but when your life's crazy, you can't get that, then that's not your bare minimum goal, right? It's like, what is the bare minimum that you want to do to be proud of yourself each day? And so it may be getting into one qualified conversation. It may be getting, a post up on your wall in your story, like whatever it is, you got to decide that for yourself. But I love that mentality of when your life's at its worst, what can you do that you feel is doable? But if you haven't listened to that Christina call that was shared yesterday, just go in that chat. It's in there. Because I think for me, it was very helpful yesterday, and it gave me strategy ideas for the end of the month. One other thing I wanted to let y'all know is I do have a really cool IPA challenge I got from a bunch of diamonds that I want to start on Monday. And it's about holding, it's basically like a 15-minute messenger event, but it's in your stories. And so it's a whole story event, but it's like how to post in your stories leading up to it to hold the event in your own stories on Thursday. Okay. So I have all the content for it for you guys to put it all in your stories. But there is stuff like Monday. It's like recording your own little 2-minute testimony video to post in your stories and just say why you love Plexus. Right. So there is some stuff we need to do to make it super effective. And it's really the like you are telling people why they should be in your stories on Thursday to learn all about this. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is stuff leading up to it. Thursday is the event, and then there's stuff afterward to help kind of wrap it up. So I have the whole IPA challenge and the whole event content, and I have one that's for products, and I have one that's for the business. So we can run it back to back. One week we can do products, the next week we can do business. And so, but I think I mean, I guess we don't have to start on a Monday, but I don't know. My brain just is like Monday, that's day one, right? But it would be then to run the event on Thursday. So that's something that I have that I am planning on doing. So just wanted to make sure you guys knew about that so that you know it's coming. Does anybody else have any final thoughts? Questions? I love y'all. I've missed you guys.
I don't
Tomorrow,
have any questions, but this has been really good information
I'm glad.
for sure.
I want these to be of value for y'all to get on. So, you know, but I do, tomorrow, I am hoping to at least do a 1 hour power hour, I believe at noon is the time I can do it if anyone's available. And I don't know if anyone, you know, we're coming into the final, I guess, 8 days of the month. I don't know if anyone can do an evening, but I will be working amidst retainer and robotics and, you know, fun summer stuff. So yay. But if y'all have any questions or need help, or if you're just kind of stuck on how to get into activity, just reach out. And sometimes it takes like 5 seconds to get past that. It's just a matter of moving forward. So, hey y'all, I love you guys.